It's Trevor Sines again, co-owner of Michigan Mortgage Modification, and in this brief video I'm going to discuss what you should realistically expect from a loan modification. And one of the first things I want to talk about is principal reduction. We get a lot of phone calls into the office and we contact a lot of people, and some of the main goals that they have, or in order for them to be happy with modification, they say that they want their loan balance reduced to what the home is worth right now. And most servicers have no interest in doing that because it's really not the main source of the problem. First of all, you signed a contract when you bought the home or when you refinanced of how much you would be willing to repay. Just because your home lost value doesn't mean that the lender has to say, okay, you only owe us what the home is worth. And I kind of want to use buying a new car as an example. Okay, the day you buy a new car and drive it off the lot, your car loses at least $2,000 in value. Doesn't matter how many miles you drive, as soon as you drive it off that lot, you're not going to be able to return it for what you owed on it. Okay, so you can't really go back into the auto dealership the day after you bought your car and say, hey, my car is worth $2,000 less than what I bought it for yesterday. I want you to write me a check for $2,000. It doesn't make any sense, and it's not going to happen. Okay. Now, with that being said, only 1% of all loan modifications get principal reduction. And the main reason being is that most people that get a modification want to stay in their home. That's their main goal, is to stay in their home. And as long as their payment's affordable, they're happy paying it. Okay? Now, obviously they wouldn't be trying for a loan modification if their current payment was affordable. So that's what we focus on, and that's what your investor or servicer is going to focus on. The monthly payment. Not how much you owe, strictly the monthly payment. And what they're going to do to make your payment affordable is they're going to work on reducing the interest rate down to a certain amount, usually as low as 2%, and then extending the term up to as much as 40 years. All right? And that's what they're going to do first. The last ditch effort from any servicer is going to be principal reduction. Now, again, I'm not going to say that you're not going to get principal reduction, but 1 out of 100 people get principal reduction when they qualify for a modification. Okay, and we have gotten principal reduction for several people through Michigan Mortgage Modification, but it's not something that I like to focus on as far as an ideal expectation. Okay, if someone comes to me and says, Trevor, I want a loan modification, the only way I'm going to be happy is if they knock $50,000 off of my principal balance, I'm not going to take that person on as a client because I don't think it's realistic. And if you think about the math that's involved with a modification or even a mortgage, let's say that you owe $150,000 on a home and you pay an 8% interest rate, and your mortgage payment, including your taxes and insurance, is somewhere around, $1,300 per month. Well, you can't afford that anymore, and that's why you want a modification. So one way that they could modify that loan is they could keep you at your interest rate that you're currently at and knock $40,000 off of the principal balance. However, that would mean that the servicer or investor is not going to get paid back what they're originally owed. All right. The next way that they would modify, or the ideal way that they're going to modify it, is they're going to work out, based off of your financial analysis, how much you spend monthly, how much you make monthly. They're going to figure out what you can afford as far as a monthly payment, and that's what they're going to work towards getting. So if they figure out, based off of the numbers that you give them or a number that a company like mine gives them, if they figure out that you can afford a $900 a month mortgage payment, well, they're going to adjust the interest rate and the term to get you down from $1,300 a month to $900 a month. And you as a homeowner should be happy with the $900 monthly payment because you can afford it. You get to stay in your home, and ultimately you didn't get principal reduction, but you can still afford your monthly payment. So what I want you to focus on when it comes to looking at a modification for yourself is, am I going to be satisfied with a lower payment, or do I want principal reduction? If you want principal reduction and it's got to be principal reduction or nothing, well, I think that you're kind of trying to win a race that you can't win. But if you would be happy with a lower mortgage payment, then I think you should pursue the modification, and I think you should contact either my company or another company that you feel comfortable with. And that's pretty much how I feel about principal reduction. Now, when it comes to interest rate reduction and extending the term, some great things can happen, okay? Because realistically, if you can't afford your payment right now, but you can afford a payment, and your servicer or investor can work you into the payment you can afford, you should be happy, okay? First of all, modifications are getting a lot better interest rates than any refinance you can get at this point in time. Even though interest rates are at historic lows, we're getting people modified down to 2% interest rates, okay? And that's pretty low. You can't get that anywhere except for through a modification. Also, we're getting people's terms extended up to 40 years to compensate for a lower payment if they need it, all right? And with the Making Home Affordable initiative from the Obama administration, there's some other things that are happening, and that will be discussed in our next video in this series. So if you have any questions about modifications, or if you're ready to get rolling with the service, by all means, give us a call at the office, 248-674-6457, and you might get through right to me, you might speak to my business partner Jason, or you might speak to one of our other counselors. But bottom line, if you're ready to get started, we're ready to help you, okay? But I want you to know that if your main goal is principal reduction and you're not going to be happy with anything but principal reduction, we're probably not going to take you on as a client. I mean, not because we don't like you, not because we don't think that you deserve principal reduction, just because we know what's available out there. And again, only 1% of all modifications are getting a principal reduction. So again, with that being said, if you have any questions or you want to talk directly to us, you can contact us at the office, 248-674-6457. And I wish you the best of luck with your mortgage situation. Have a great day.